All right, awesome. So if you're ready, we'll go.
No.
All right, awesome. Welcome everybody to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. It's been a little bit of a break for us, but you know what? A couple days off never hurt anybody. Today we have a very special guest. He's actually on his way from Texas to Nashville. We caught him in the car. We have Cory Michael. How's it going today, Cory?
Going well, Tom. How are you, man?
Doing pretty good. Just kind of waiting to see what all this weird weather is going to do with the hurricane approach, or tropical storm, whatever it's going to be. So just kind of sitting here waiting to see what all is going to happen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're in Texas, right?
What's that?
So that's right. You're in Texas.
Yep. I'm up here in Waco, so I'm a little inland, but still, I'm sure I don't have to tell you those storms will come in and ruin your day. So. But first off, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I know you're trying to get to Nashville as quick as you can, but I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with us here a little bit.
Absolutely, Tom. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, for sure. But first off, what I want to do before we really jump into you got a new single that's out. Before we jump into all that, what's your origin story? What got you into music?
So I started pretty early, like in seventh grade. I picked up drums in school, and so I was on the snare line, and ended up getting into the trap set right after that, playing in church. And then I was in a few church bands, and then I was in a Christian rock band playing the drums. And it was all drums up until about I was 24, 25, and picked up the guitar again. I had fiddled around with it, but picked up the guitar again, man. I was introduced to country music around that time, and finally started to write, and that's what gripped me the most. So that's why I started to write.
Awesome. And you're originally from Odessa, correct? Odessa, Texas?
Originally from Odessa, Texas. Yes, sir.
So like the whole Friday Night Lights, that whole scenario is very familiar with you?
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't go to that school. That's Permian. I went to the other side of town.
Okay.
And I lived in the Permian district, but from the get-go, I was going to like magnet and AP schools. I wasn't very smart. I don't know how that worked out, but anyway, I was doing that, and so I ended up. All my friends were at the other side, and because they had the AP program, and anyway, so that's where I went.
Okay.
And up in regular classes by the end of the time. By the time I graduated, but it was a good time anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It was when I was looking to move to Texas, Odessa Midland area was some place that I was looking at just because the name recognition of the area, but it didn't happen. I ended up moving to Waco.
Yeah.
So
yeah, easy decision.
Yeah, but so you just dropped a new single in June called "Waist High Water." What was the process in kind of sitting down to write that song? What was the process in why did you select that as your next single? That stuff.
So I sat down to write it after a write. So I went to sit down with a buddy of mine, Chad Sellers, who usually will come up with something really pretty good. And I was just kind of off that day. Didn't have a good write. And I came home frustrated and just sat down with the guitar in the living room and just started pounding some rhythms out. And I let that kind of steer the melody. And then I had Waist High Water in my head for a couple of days before that. And so it just kind of wrote that thing in the next half hour to 45 minutes and called it good, man. It just felt good. It was a summer song. And so I figured if I liked it as much, in a couple of weeks as I did at that moment, then we might release it for the summer. And so that's why it was our summer one. It was supposed to come out about a month and a half earlier, but with all this COVID stuff going on, we weren't sure what we wanted to do. So we finally decided to pull the trigger and just let it go.
Absolutely. Now, did you record it in Nashville or did you record it in Texas?
No, I recorded it in Nashville with a producer there named David Mescon. He goes by Messy. He does a lot of work in LA and here, and he definitely hit the nail on the head. Him and Joel Jorgensen, they co-produced the thing. So both Nashville guys, but it was a good experience, man.
Nice. And how long have you been? Was this the first song you've recorded in Nashville, or have you been recording in Nashville for a while?
So I started recording in Nashville back in 2016,
Okay.
and I cut about 10 songs with a guy, Noah Henson.
Mm-hmm.
Noah is right now, he's with Brantley Gilbert. He's their guitar player. He's the guy with dreads. Came from a Christian rock background, pillar, and so we connected in that way. And we came out with some good stuff, a different feel than what I'm working on right now, but I still love all that stuff, man. And so yeah, Noah killed it on that.
Awesome. And you'd mentioned that the release date for the song got pushed back a little bit due to the COVID. Was there concern that it wouldn't get released at all, or was it just like a matter of trying to figure out the right timing?
It was just trying to figure out the right timing. We knew we wanted to release it at the beginning of the summer because we wanted to give. I mean, summer's only a season, and for it to do what it's going to do, it needs to have some time. So we were going to do it at the beginning of the summer, and if we didn't pull the trigger, by the time we did release it, then it was going to be next summer possibly. So
Gotcha.
we wanted to release it mid-year for obvious reasons, but I think it worked out great, man, and I'm excited to see what happens with it.
Nice. Now, is the plan to like work towards like an EP or an LP, or is it just going to be like a straight single?
So this might be part of an EP or an LP in the long run. Right now, we're just trying to get music out as we can and as quick as we can. I'm sitting on a couple more. I'm sitting on a lot of unreleased stuff or unrecorded stuff, but I'm sitting on a couple more that have been recorded right now. And so we'll just keep putting them out as seasons change and one dies out, then we'll just keep shooting our shot with the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And since the song's been out for about a month, how's the reception been for it?
The reception's been great. It's refreshing to hear the feedback. I mean, I got my first TikTok done on it, and so that was kind of cool, man. I mean, I'm not on TikTok or anything like that, but to see it come across my Instagram feed was really cool. It's just been it feels like people have been, attaching that to their summer. The ones that have reached out and hit me back and whatnot. So we're hoping to get on some more playlists and get that thing going. So.
Gotcha. It's like you knew what I was going to ask the second you brought up TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask like, oh, so what do you think of TikTok? But you're not on it, so I'm not going to even bother.
Not on it, man. I was on it for about half a day, dude. But then I was like, yeah, this one isn't for me. So I got off that real quick.
I gotcha. And actually, some of the stuff that I've seen on TikTok, like the fact that you drive as much as you do, just doing road stories on TikTok, I think would be really interesting for you.
Right on. Yeah, man, I'm always on the road. That's why I built this thing out. I'm in my van right now, if you can't tell. I built this thing out, put a bed in here, a fridge, a closet, a pantry, and it's my home on the road for sure.
Nice.
And I got.
Hey, nice. That's awesome. So that's just like what, a straight like cargo van type situation?
Yeah, it was a passenger van. It was a passenger 40 Econoline, and I got a good deal on it, so I picked it up and ripped everything out and made it a shelter.
Nice. How long did it take you to convert it over?
Man, it took me probably 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Nice. I got you. That's really cool. Like that just looks like it's a lot more comfortable than sleeping in the back seat or something. Like when you're driving in the middle of the night and it's like, all right, I need to go take a nap. Just jump in yeah.
This bed is it's memory foam and it's comfier than my bed at the house. Like I'll sleep in this sometimes whenever I'm at the house just because it feels good and it feels like I'm camping and I like being outdoors. So
nice. All right, so people are asking, what's your dog's name?
Kane.
Kane. Okay, got it.
He's a Catahoula Pit mix, I think.
Nice.
He's trying to kiss me right now. Oh, he's the boy.
And yep, now he thinks you're playing.
Yeah,
What's that?
he's the road dog.
Yep, that's awesome. But so you've got your little home away from home. When you're not, when there isn't like a global pandemic going on, how often are you out on the road playing shows?
Man, I try and be out there every weekend. Um, it's been tough booking wise sometimes because I play acoustic a lot. We've done some opening shows for like some bigger names and stuff in West Texas, and that's been good. But mostly it's just me driving around acoustically and trying to hit a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I do that as much as I can and just um, try and make it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Kicking tires and fired.
Yeah, absolutely. How often do you get to go out to Southeast New Mexico?
Southeast New Mexico, like Hobbs and
Yeah, like Roswell, Hobbs, you know that area.
Okay, yeah. No, I haven't been out there in quite a while. In fact, I haven't played that direction. No, I have. I think I've played in Ruidoso, but
Okay.
um,
If you're gonna play in Southeast New Mexico, that's the place to play.
okay, yeah, Ruidoso.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got snowed in there and wrote a song called "Summer" back, shoot, back in 2015, I think it was.
Okay.
And we were snowed in, and we were at the casino, and that's the worst and best place to be snowed in. But ended up losing a little more money than I intended, and
Yeah.
I wrote a song. So
That's awesome. I lived in Roswell for about 4 years after college. It was like I was telling you that after college, I like that we just kind of moved.
hmm
Roswell was one of the places I stayed for about 4 years.
right on, yeah. So do you believe in aliens?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Right on, man. There's something out there. Huh?
Yeah. Just don't go to the Alien Museum because it's nothing that you haven't seen already.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've been in there a couple times.
Yeah. A lot of people go there and they're like, well, it's just the experience. And it's like, okay, like if you want to believe that, but
Yeah,
it's
man.
nothing you ain't seen already. So,
It's cool. It's cool.
but, so how's life without being able to get out and do shows right now? How are you kind of dealing with all that?
So this past weekend, I played a private show there in Decatur, and I have another one this coming weekend in Decatur, Texas. I'm sorry. I have another one this coming weekend. I've been playing private shows as much as I can, and there's a couple places that'll still have live music in Texas, and so that's why I've kind of gone back that direction recently, is because there's more opportunity to make a few bucks. This
Yeah,
is all I do. I do music full time, and so it's this time, just like I'm sure for everybody else, it's rough. So
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
just trying to truck along and keep the head above water and rock and roll, man.
Yep, yep. It's I know down in Austin they're still playing some shows, but here in Waco they're not doing too much from what I've seen.
Right on.
At least in the smaller venues where if they have to operate at 50% capacity, there's no point in bringing a band in because
You're
okay,
not gonna.
50%, we're bringing in 20 people and half of that's taken up once the band gets here.
Yeah, that's
So
true too.
but so I kind of have to travel out a little bit to see any live shows at the moment. But
Right on.
but during the pandemic, are you doing anything to kind of challenge yourself creatively?
I'm doing a lot of. I'm thinking a lot. Trying to put pieces together around this single and whatnot. I'm writing a little bit. I'm I finished two songs during this thing, but that really hadn't been the priority for me because I feel like I have that hadn't been the priority for me in the past few months before that. So right now, man, just trying to push the single, trying to get out there. Now I'm out in nature a lot. I'm outside, and that definitely gets the light bulbs going. In fact, on the trip today, I wrote down an idea for a song, but right now that's about as far as it gets. So.
Nice. And is that what's kind of your creative process when you sit down to write music?
For me, it's kind of different. A lot of people especially around Nashville, they like to, you know, I mean, you're going to set a time and write with somebody. And so for me, that's kind of tough. I've done it a few times and I'm not a big fan of it, but I'll do it just to write with people. And, but for me, man, it's got to be inspiration. So um, usually I get inspired and I'll have a line in my head and I try and write the song then, or I throw down at least the voice memo of a melody that just came into my head and I try and get as much out as I can. And then, you know, hit them, come back to them. If they don't come out immediately, or if I'm in a bad space to finish it. But yeah, man, it's got to kind of just come to me and then go.
Gotcha. So are you not like a big fan of the writers' rounds that they do out there in Nashville?
No, I love those.
Okay.
I love rounds. I mean, I'm not a fan of the whole set a time to go sit down and write with
Okay.
somebody, create a song. And like I said, I'll do it, and I do it with a few people, but I have those like 4 or 5 people. So.
Gotcha. So you've been in or been going. Do you consider yourself living in Nashville, or do you just like visit Nashville frequently?
So my time split about 50-50.
Okay.
And so I had a residence from 2017 up until about March.
Okay.
And lease ran out, got out of that thing. And since everything was going on, just popped over to Texas, and Texas was open. And so now, you know, I got places there in Texas and Tennessee that I can park this bad boy at. And, you know,
So basically, from when up until COVID hit, you'd consider yourself living in Nashville, but now you're back kind of living in Texas. Is that fair to
right.
say?
Yeah, it's fair to say.
Okay. That's cool. How's the experience of living and playing in Nashville changed your music?
It's definitely challenged me in my songwriting just as a whole, whether it's lyrically or melody wise. Uh, you get to Nashville and you realize how uh, good everyone else is and how it humbles you real quick. And I think that's a great thing. But it's definitely challenged me to get better because I'm like, man, that was great. How can I be better than that? And it just makes your mind go, man.
Gotcha. Who are you listening to right now that you're kind of trying to draw influences from?
I've been listening to a lot of stuff that I listened to back whenever I was in my high school and college days. I've been listening to a lot of like Dave Matthews Band, some John Mayer. I popped on the Hot Country today just to kind of listen and see what's on, and on Spotify, and then like I'll pop on just different playlists on Spotify, whether it be, you know, R&B stuff or rock or old school stuff. But yeah, mainly it's been like Dave Matthews Band and John Mayer right now.
Yeah. You know, listening to John Mayer is really interesting because he's like a really good guitarist. Like if you listen to some of his, like he did didn't he do like a Beat It cover with Fall Out Boy or something?
That's a good question, man. I'm not sure.
Like he did like a cover song with Fall Out Boy, and like just his guitar playing on that was absolutely amazing. I don't know.
And
I've
yeah,
always
he's
respected him for being a really good guitar player. So
absolutely me too. And I think that's kind of why I have latched onto him that way, is because I'm not that good at guitar. I fake it till I make it, and it comes out okay because I'm percussive on it because I was a drummer. But yeah, man, he's BA.
so since you started off as a drummer and then kind of morphed into a solo country artist, why did you kind of transition away from the drums and not try and pursue the drums and join a band or something like that?
Well, that was on the radar, but then I went through a divorce back when I was 21 years old, and moved into an apartment, and I think I just wanted change. But I ended up selling the drum kit, and I blamed it on the fact that I was in the apartment. Sold the drum kit, picked up a guitar, and just, you know, went to town. So blame it on the women always. Just kidding, lady.
You know, it's funny. My dad's got this huge upright bass. It's an old like 1920s. I think it's a bass or something.
Right on.
and he's trying to give it to me. He's like, he called me today. He's like, "Hey, I know you're in that small apartment, but do you want the old upright bass?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do, but you know how often I move. That thing's already got a janky handle. Like if I move it, you move it one more time, that thing's gonna just collapse, you know."
Yeah,
But
man, that's fun though.
so yeah, like just I know what it's like to be like, "Hey, I'm in this small apartment. I got to start getting rid of things," and I can
Yeah.
only imagine what a drum set would be like.
Yeah, I think that was more of an excuse than anything, man. I had a truck. I could have kept it in the bed.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
And
anyway.
now since you're kind of like moving forward in the music business or music industry, have you thought about going out and picking up another drum set or maybe like an electronic set or anything like that?
There was a drummer I was working with for a minute, and he left his drum kit at my house when I was staying in Nashville, and that made me want a kit real bad. I was up there every day playing the thing, and even when we didn't have practice or anything like that, and yeah, definitely itched to play again. The chops are not there, but I think they could come back if I ever decided to go that route. But man, I'm pretty determined on this one right now.
If you were to go back into drums right now, what kind of music would you pick up or
Man, when I'm jacking around on the kit, it's probably rock
okay?
90% of the time. So, um,
Like just traditional rock or like heavy, hard,
um, not no double bass stuff. Let's put it
Okay.
that way. I'm my feet don't work that fast. I tried that even when I was playing drums, and I could do triplets with one foot, but I can't blah, 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 like that.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. It's always interesting to listen or just watch somebody that can do like the double bass.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's just like, and the sounds you get out of it, it's like, holy cow, that's amazing. Yeah,
yeah, man. That's a skill for sure.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things that we like to do on Live and Amplified is pass on knowledge and help the younger musicians kind of get a jump in the right direction, off on the right foot as well. So, what's one thing that you've learned throughout your music career that you wish you would have known when you first got started?
That you can't do it yourself. No matter much people try and tell you that, just do it yourself. You don't need a manager. You don't need somebody to do PR. You don't need somebody to do this and this and this. You do, because if you're not focused on your art, then it's just going to fall to the back, and it gets overwhelming, especially for most artist mindset people that
Yeah,
I've come across. So.
gotcha, gotcha. What's the one thing you've learned jumping or going into the recording studio?
Um, just to be patient with yourself, I think. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Just continue to feel it, even though there's a microphone in front of you and you're recording stuff. Just continue to feel it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Was there any when you first went into the studio? Was there anybody there kind of helping you or giving you advice on how to approach?
Yes, I was very green going into the studio. I had recorded one single before in Texas,
Hmm.
and it's still on Spotify and iTunes and all that. It's called Your Man, and I recorded that one a long time ago, and that was kind of the only recording experience that I've had in the studio. And then I went to Nashville, and Noah Henson was like this guru of everything that I needed to do, and he brought out a lot in my voice. Him and Brett Manning. Brett Manning's a vocal coach here in Nashville, and those guys really helped shape kind of the direction that I'm in right now, and just brought a lot out of me. So, man, Noah was the man in the studio. He definitely turned me from green to at least like a mild yellow.
Nice. How did you start working with them?
Noah, I just reached out. I There was a single from Kane Brown that had come out before Kane was as big as he is, and he had cut it with Noah, and it was called "Don't Go City on Me." I don't know if you remember that one, but it was like one of the first, if not the first thing that Kane put out, and he had shown me that song I'm sorry, I heard that song, and then I was like, I got to find this producer because that's what I needed, and was to find a producer. And so I searched him out because I heard the song go from acoustic to fully produced, and he was the guy. And so I searched him out, sent them a few messages. They got back with me, and we worked something out. And now Noah's, a really great friend. So.
Gotcha. That's awesome. You know, and what actually, because this is one thing that I really want to touch on really quick. Can you explain the importance of having a good relationship with your producer?
Oh yeah, man. If there's no chemistry, I mean, the music's gonna sound like that. Whenever there is chemistry, you definitely hear it in the music. So if you're not getting along with your producer, and you don't like the direction they're taking you or anything, at least speak up and see if y'all can't work something out. And if not, go a different route. Don't rush something just because you need to get it done. Go with the right.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what's the biggest sound or what? So from when you record, are you recording with a full band or are you just by yourself?
So I'm by myself, and we record all the pieces in separate. And
Okay.
usually the producer does most of that. On this last track, we had Grady Saxman play drums on that. So after we got everything done the way we wanted with fake drums, then we sent it off to Grady, and he put on the real drums, and we kind of
You
went and
know,
mixed up.
I really appreciate that you said that you actually used a real drummer.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I've seen a lot of producers try and say that their little drum pad or whatever, like their little fake drum set, and they're like, "Oh, we can do it better in in the system or whatever it is." And then you go back and listen to it, and it's like, "No, this is too clean. Like these hits are too clean." Like,
oh yeah,
what,
and go
go
ahead. No, I mean, when you have a live drummer on there, it definitely brings the track to life. I think it's an essential thing. Even if you don't end up using the real sounds,
ahead.
and just the hits, have this live feel. Now, I think there's a space for everything. So,
Yeah,
that stuff that does have the electronic drums, that's probably what fits it best. In a lot of cases, there's a lot of cases that it doesn't, and I know what you're talking about, but for sure, man.
yeah, because I remember when we first started doing like the live and amplified thing, we worked with a band out in Roswell. They were a heavy metal band, and they were going up to Albuquerque to um, record their first studio album.
Yeah,
Yeah, their first it was their first studio LP, and they got worked into working with a producer that was like, "Nope, I can play your drums better than your drummer can," and
yeah,
they used the electronic pad and what have you, and it just didn't sound right. Like the hits were too clean, everything was like too precise. And I called the guy and I was like, "Hey man, this just doesn't have your flow. Like the flow seems off." And he's like, and this was before I even knew that they had used that he wasn't the one playing the drums. He's like, "Yeah, I know. They kind of talked us into using a drum pad." I'm like, "Oh,
oh,
okay."
man.
So
That's the thing too is don't get talked into anything, man. Do you? Uh, and if you have a vision for it, it's your art. So unless you get that out, man, you got to be happy with the product because it's going to be there forever.
yep, absolutely, absolutely. Unless you end up taking it down, I don't know. You know,
I've I've done that. I've done that, but people have it saved like on their iTunes. They had downloaded. This is back whenever you had to purchase stuff.
yeah, absolutely. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, and then people will remember. It's like you take something down, and then like 2 or 3 years later, it's like, hey, where's this? You a couple years ago, you made this song. I don't remember what the name is, but I can't find it anywhere. And then you're just in the back of your head, it's like, dang, it's a song I took down because it doesn't represent me anymore, whatever the original reason was, you know, and people
Yeah.
are asking about it. So that's always
Oh,
interesting. But um, so what's kind of the plan moving forward? Are you going to Nashville? Are you going to do some studios time, or what's the plan once you hit Nashville?
so this week, I'm mainly coming to play a couple rounds see a few friends, pick up a trailer, and then I have a couple meetings about the next few months. So I'm going to take those meetings and then go back to Texas, have a few more meetings, and it's meetings right now. So
Gotcha. And then, have you been experimenting with like any of the live streams and stuff like that?
I've done a few, and they've been a lot more fun than I thought that they would be. I thought that I would, and I was, don't get me wrong, I was terrible, and I'm probably still terrible at them right now, but they've gotten a lot more fun for me. So I think the last one I did by myself on my own page was, a couple weeks ago.
Gotcha. And did you go through that weird learning curve of not knowing how to transition out?
Oh yeah, definitely so. Yeah, we'll just say I went through all the learning curves that made me look like a fool on that thing.
It was so like now it's not nearly as bad, but like at the beginning, it was like they'd start off fine because it's like starting off a normal show. They'd get into their first song, play the first song, and then at the end of the first song, it's just kind of like, I don't know what to do because you're not getting an applause, and just kind of transitioning out was a little bit weird, but yeah.
Yeah, it's even more weird because 9 times out of 10 when I'm doing it, I can't read the comments because my phone's too far away or my camera's too far away or whatever, my laptop or whatever,
Yeah.
and so I'm not seeing what they're saying. So I'm just going like a show and trying to talk to them as if they're right there. But
Yeah.
that's a rough thing to do, man. That's tough sometimes.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting because I've seen it a couple of times where they'll be playing and then like the internet cuts out. And so then they'll have been playing for like 20 minutes, but nobody saw it because the stream died on them or something. So,
Mine's cut out times that way too, man.
yeah.
It's fun.
But so I don't want to keep you too much longer because I don't want you to get it. Where are you exactly right now? Are you still technically in Texas or?
No, I'm actually I just got to Franklin, so I'm parked in the Target parking lot in Franklin because they have good service, and I am rolling to a place called Kimbro's Pick and Parlor. No, not going there. We switched it. Now I'm
Okay.
heading to this theater downtown Franklin, and I can't remember the name. Anyway,
Gotcha.
it's down in the factory, and it's gonna play some songs, but it'll be good.
Nice. Awesome. I bet. So you're, what time's that's here? That's tonight, correct?
Yes, that started about 7 o'clock Central Time, so uh, it goes on till like midnight, 1 o'clock,
Okay.
something.
Gotcha. So if anybody happens to be in Franklin, make sure you go check it out.
Come on, absolutely. If I can remember the dang name of the theater.
Yeah. I'm sure anybody that's in Franklin probably knows.
Yeah, for sure. It's in the factory. That's all you gotta know.
Okay. Awesome. So obviously with COVID, no show. There's really not that as many shows going on, but you still got a few I saw on your website for September, correct?
Right, this one September coming up. I think at a couple breweries, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yep. Let's see. You got 12 Fox Beer Company in Dripping Springs
Yes,
and Cactus Land Brewing in Atkins.
yes, both near Austin, and both good times. So.
Nice. I'll have to try and. You said near Austin, and I just realized, for whatever reason, I always thought Austin was like 2 hours away,
Uh-huh.
but it's really only like an hour and a half. An hour and a half is a very reasonable drive for me,
Yeah,
you know.
I'm so from Decatur, I'm about 3.5 or 4 hours.
Okay.
But like that to me is like what a maybe an hour and a half or 2 hour drive used to be.
Yeah.
It just whizzes by every time.
When I say an hour and a half is a reasonable drive, I'm referring for like a show, like going to a show.
Absolutely.
You know, it's when I was living out in New Mexico, like it was 3 hours to get anywhere. So it's like if I got to go drive 3 or 4 hours to get somewhere, okay, fine. But to go see like an hour show, I'm not going to drive 3 or 4 hours to go see an hour show. Like it's just not going to happen.
It's all relative, man. All
Yeah.
relative.
But So first off, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. Where can everybody find you online? Where can they find your music? All that fun stuff.
You can find me online at CoryMichael.com, Cory, no E in Cory, CoryMichael.com. And it's got all the links to all my socials. I'm on Instagram. It's Cory Michael Music. Facebook is /Cory Michael Music. Twitter is at Cory Michael. And that's where I'm at. I'm not on TikTok. So,
gotcha. You know, I think one of these days you'll be on TikTok. You'll just find your way on.
So. I'll take that.
But once again, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys later.
All right. See you later, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, cool. Stream's off.
Sweet.